For a 3-thread narrow overlock, I'm going to show you which stitch we're going to use, how to remove a needle, and how to get it all set up and what it's used for. So first off, if you arrow to the right, this is stitch number 7. Now there's stitch number 6 is actually, so we'll go to that, is the wide version of a 3-thread overlock, and stitch number 7 is the 3-thread overlock narrow, which is what we're going to use. So the little pop-up message comes up, okay, so we have the Serger front cover. We have our knife up and engaged. We're not using the 2-thread converter because it's a 3-thread. And then also here we've got our stitch finger always pushed in to N for normal, or not to R for rolled hem. Our pressure of our foot is normal. That would be changed if you were working with some different fabrics. And then our cover stitch serger section, that's that little part way right down here. That will be set to S. So most of the time when you're in the overlock part of your serger, that will always be left there. Okay, so our needle that we're told to put in is our B needle. Notice that we need to remove one. You need to always take out the needle that is not in use. So I'm going to clip my orange thread or my yellow thread here. I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. And I'm not going to leave this just hanging here. I want to always remove that thread. You know why? Because if you leave that hanging, it will come back in with its friends because it gets lonely. So take this off your serger. Trust me, you leave it on one time and you'll wish you had not. Okay, I'm going to just go ahead and turn my hand wheel just so it moves my lower loop or upper looper out of the way. I'm going to use my little needle threader to help remove it on the opposite end. Take that little guy, go straight up. And then I'm taking my screwdriver and loosening the top screw, that's needle A. And once it drops out, tighten the screw all the way nice and tight. Give it a little, make sure it doesn't loosen up. And then you can, sometimes if you find a little piece of fabric, you can put your needle right there. And then that way you know that was the one that came out of my machine. So really there's not much more to change. We're going to just go ahead and do a quick test here and see where we're at. Let's go ahead and tell it fabric B, kind of that woven medium, and then it tells me my knife should be at 6.2. So if I need to, I'm going to just move my knife right here. We'll just kind of get into that general area. We might need to adjust it just based on what the final result is. Now, a 3-thread overlock narrow is perfect to run along a single edge that just needs to be overlocked but not serged together. Okay, so see how this is? It's just, you notice that we have one needle going but not two. So that's not going to hold it like a full-on seam, and also it's narrower. Now, this is usually something that we always talk about. You can kind of see that we have some stitches kind of up above and a little air peeking through, and that's just because I'm going to set that knife back a little bit wider. I'm moving the knife away from my needle just a little bit to let more fabric be left inside that serged area. Let's just see what the difference is. Oh yeah, looking much better here. So there's nothing wrong with the tension. So many people go, oh, my tension's off. No, there's just, you cut off too much fabric. All right, looking good. So there, now see how that top edge just kisses the edge of the fabric. Look on the back, we have that nice straight edge, more just for pleasing look here, because really when we are putting an overlock along the edge, we really are just overlocking the edge, so it's no big deal. Often too, I don't often cut off my seam allowance. A lot of times I just want to kind of hug the cut edge, so I'm not losing anything. We use a 3-thread. A lot of times, look, if we did a hem, if you've looked inside pair of pants, that's what you see. So go to your sewing machine, do a little blind hem, and then that's a nice single edge. It makes it so it's not bulky on that back side. If you're doing any garment sewing and you're finding you don't know how it's all going to fit, or it's a very fitted item, go around all your edges with the overlock, and then you can go and sew your seams as normal. So then that way you can still have room to take those alterations, take take the seam out, take it in as needed, and you haven't cut off any extra edge there. So this is really a nice way to finish, especially fabrics that are unravelly, your silks, your satins, anything rayon sometimes starts to get a little hairy on those edges when you start to handle them. This will make sure that as you go to handle all your pieces, this works really well. Also too, just even the inside of handbags, so cut off all your pieces and just overlock all the edges. Maybe you're not going to overlock the whole construction of the bag because maybe it's getting too thick. Just take and go around each of the edges, the pockets, and then sew it together as normal. Believe me, it just makes sure that nice edge. You don't get all those strings as you're working with your project. So this is probably the second most popular stitch for me. So 4-thread overlock first, 3-thread narrow version next, and of course my third one is rolled hem. So those are my top 3 stitches on a serger for the majority of my sewing. So try this out. Try it with different weights of fabric so you know how to adjust that knife, and really everything else is just a normal setting.